Hello everybody, Matt here. Welcome to M2M. If you can all give me a one in the chat if you can hear me, if I'm coming through nice and loud and clear, that'd be useful. If not, let me know what the problem is. If there's any echo or too loud, too soft. What do you think? Just put a one in the chat if you think it's okay. Loud and clear from Dora. Thank you, Dora. It's been a while since I've done a live. I had a bit of a panic right before. My Ethernet adapter decided to give up the ghost. Again, happened yesterday. Happened right before I was going to go live as well. So I had to reset some few things. But all looks good. I think I am live by the looks of things. All coming through. Yeah, it seems to be coming good through. Good. Anybody else think the audio's coming through okay? Can you hear me? Only hear Dora so far. No. No vag candles, says Dick. No, definitely not. Definitely no vag candles. No, certainly no vag candles. 100%. Okay, so what I thought we'll do is I've got two things. I want to share a bit of news for you, first of all, and it's about Artemis 1. So if you read this is the bottom of the screen there, that's the Twitter from Artemis. And it is saying teams at NASA Kennedy have assessed impacts on Hurricane Ian and determined there was no damage to Artemis 1 flight hardware, so it's all good. NASA will focus on November the 12th to the 27th launch. Yeah, another big delay period. It's another window period to give employees time for post-storm recovery. And to identify checkouts for launch. Employees sounds like an excuse for a bit of a holiday, if you ask me. What do you think? I don't know. Maybe I'm being cynical. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so we got a bit of a long wait for that one again. Oh, I think Artemis 1 is. I think Artemis 1 is a little bit quieter, my Dick. Artemis 1 is starting to be cursed as well. One thing after another. So what's the next delay? But hey, you know, this is what this is test launches. You know, this is what we've got to realise is Artemis 1 is a test launch. A lot of people forget that, and I do sometimes as well. But you know, I think we've been waiting a long time for SLS, haven't we? So it's about time this freaking thing got off the ground and we can see this thing fly at long last. My American friends have paid enough money for it, but we don't mind, do we? We don't mind. We don't mind. As Fish says, what's the truth? Softly Cress's clue for 4 studied with get the points. Come again? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Fish. So anyway, what I thought I'd do today is I'm going to share with you a video, and it's a bit of an interesting one. Posted by Bert Sibrel. For those of you that don't know Bert Sibrel, think of Buzz Aldrin punching a guy. Yeah, you remember that one? I was going to get a clip ready, but I just totally forgot of him showing that. That would have been good, wouldn't it? Of seeing Buzz Aldrin punching Bert Sibrel once again. That would have been nice. I should have got that. So if you remember that, he's also known as the kind of like the modern narrative for, excuse the coughing in the background, the modern guy that's pushing the moon hoax narrative at the moment. He kind of took over from Bill Casing, if you know who Bill Casing is. Bill Casing is known as kind of like the father of the moon hoax narrative, or the moon hoax theory. So he's kind of taken over from that. So that's himself. So yeah, he posted a video, and basically what it is, it's a supposed deathbed confession. Well, not literally on his deathbed, but the guy in the video says he is. So who knows, really? Who knows? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through what he claims in the video, and it's absolutely full of holes. And I think you're going to see that yourselves. I don't think I really need to point them out, although I'll stop once in a while. We can talk about it, and if you've got any comments, then yeah, please, please say so as we go through it. So I'm going to do that. So then the next thing I'm going to do is, well, on the shills tonight, we're going to do it again. But on the shills tonight, I'm going to give you more of a background story. There's some very interesting background story to this. And I think over the next weeks or months, the story's going to kind of, how should I put it, thicken a little bit. And it's going to get kind of interesting. So a little bit more background about this video. Basically, in this deathbed confession, he's talking about his father's deathbed confession. And in it, he's claiming his father was supposed to have been witnessed some things he saw at an Air Force base that apparently proved that the moon landings were all faked. But I don't want to give too much away. So I thought we'd play the video and we'll pick through it. So hopefully, if you can join us the shills tonight, I mean, Dick, if you're still around, if you can post a link to the stream to the shills tonight, that would be useful. If not, I'll also drop it in the description once the video is posted up from this live stream as well. So hopefully you can join us tonight, and you'll see a bit more of the juicy parts of the background to this story. Yeah, claims within claims within claims, Dora. You're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Oh, Dick's just making the event now. So yeah, just a few minutes. Yep, no problem, Dick. There's no rush. So if you could join us on the shills tonight, that'd be really great. It's 12 midnight my time. So that would make it around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, Dick. Is it something like that? Yeah, so if you can join us tonight, that would be really good. So we're going to pick it apart even more and then give you more of the background story. So anyway, let's 7 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, thanks, Dick. Appreciate it. 7 o'clock Eastern tonight on the shills. And Dick's going to post in the link in the chat in just a moment when he's done it. And then I'll put the link in the description of the video. So yeah, that'd be great if you can join us. So let's get on with things. So let's play the start of this video. Let me just make sure it's reset to the beginning, yeah, more or less, and let's go.
Hello, my name is Gene Gilmore. My birth given name is Eugene Reuben Akers. I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out.
Did you notice that straight away? He's got a birth name and a name that he's changed to. So he doesn't give any information as to why he changed his name. That's fine. People change their names all the time. That's okay. But the thing that gets me about it is that considering he's revealing probably supposedly one of the greatest hoax of the 20th century, or the 21st century they're in now, you would think you would want to provide some identification of who you were, right? I mean, I personally would. I don't make you. Let me know in the chat if you think. Yeah, Dora smells like Sovset. It does a bit, doesn't it? Just a little bit. But yeah, as you hear more of the story behind this, you're going to see that it really stinks of Bart Sibrel, to be perfectly honest with you. But we'll see. Anyway, so let's carry on with the video.
Until after my death. So I have nothing to gain, nothing to profit by telling you what I'm going to do.
So there you can see the date that he died, which was February 30th, 2022. So as he said there, he's producing this video. He's going to give it to Bart Sibrel, and his son is going to let Bart Sibrel know when he's died. Now, as far as I know, I could have this wrong. I haven't verified this. He didn't release it until September, early September, and it's been all over social media. And this is the reason why I'm doing this. It's everywhere. I've seen it quite a few times on Facebook, but everywhere on Twitter. I mean, they're the only two social media platforms that I use apart from YouTube. So I don't know if you've seen this video everywhere, but it's getting traction now, and I think it's about time that we started exposing it a little bit, and hopefully we can sort of build up on the background story to it as well. So anyway, sorry, let's carry on.
Tell you, and a lot of what I'm going to tell you is available online until they see this video. And I'm sure things will start getting scrubbed. As well as moon photos. But anyway, my father in 1968 was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. I made notes on my computer.
So there you are. That's his father's name, Cyrus Eugene Akers, and he was a military policeman, apparently at Cannon Air Force Base. That's where he's getting that from, and that's what he's claiming. So we're just going to say alleged for now. We don't know one way or the other. So that's himself. So he died, I believe, in 2002. I believe. So he's going to reveal now what he said on his deathbed. So let's see what he's got to say.
So that I wouldn't forget anything, because there's a lot of little things and stuff that I'd forget. So these notes were made a long time ago. The original recording that my father made on his deathbed was destroyed in a fire.
Right, so here's the big red flag number two for me. Number one, sorry, the first big red flag, right? First of all, we said his notes were destroyed in a fire. And did you see the big yellow text that came up on the screen? Hang on, I need to see if I can actually rewind that slightly, just to sort of, so you can see it. Let's go back a tad. Oh, no. There we go. So as you can see, it says computer confiscated by government raid. And then he made a recording. So yeah, he made some notes. Yeah, that's it. He made some notes and he put it on his computer. And apparently, the computer was confiscated by a government raid. So no information about this raid is given, who it was aimed at, or why. So that's convenient, isn't it? So his notes have been confiscated, or his computer has. So there's that. And then he says he recorded. Now, he didn't say what kind of recording, whether it's an audio recording or a video recording. We don't know. There's no information given on that. And that was destroyed in a fire, as he actually said, and also came up with the text on the screen. Let's fast forward that a little bit where we were. Yeah, so fire of unknown origin. Oh, how convenient. Do you see where this is going right now? You know, so straight away, we've got a couple of big red flags, right? Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, as Truth Nerd says, my notes were destroyed in a fire. The dog ate my homework. Yeah, same principle. Exactly, yeah. Oh, wow. You know, so here we go. Right from the word go, we've got red flag. So anyway, let's see what else he's got to say.
But, so this is my deathbed confession, because now I'm dying of cancer. I've got cancer all over the place, and so, and they don't know where it's coming from, and I don't know if they can stop it, but it don't look good. So I'm going to go ahead and make this video for Bert Sibrel. He knows not to do anything with it until notification of my death, for which my son will respond to that. Okay, like I said, in 19...
So yeah, so he's supposedly dying of cancer. Now I'm not saying he isn't. This is not any proof. Now, I'm not saying he's not. He maybe was, but we don't know for sure who he is. He's given a cancer that's we have no idea what kind of cancer it is. He doesn't even offer that at all. So it's an unknown cancer, and he's supposedly dying. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, it could be from the future, Stephen says. Yeah. He's time traveler. All right, okay, let's see what else he's got to say. Let's see
1968, my father was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. We lived in Clovis, New Mexico. He was in the military police for over 20 years, and on his deathbed in 2002, we made a recording of what happened. Now, I already told you what happened to the recording. But it doesn't matter, because all the facts are there, so it doesn't matter who's telling the story or whatever. I will, at the end of the video, I'll supply a picture.
Well, he says it doesn't matter who's telling the story. Well, it kind of does matter if you claim to making a recording and it's been destroyed in an unknown fire. Don't know anything about the fire, so yeah, it kind of does matter, don't you think? I do. He's fond of future, so stop arguing now for a bit. Okay, all right then. Won't mention it again. Nothing like, yeah, nothing like like third-hand facts. Yeah, exactly, absolutely, Stephen. Absolutely right. So anyway, let's carry on.
My father, his badge, the flag of when they buried him. I'll show you some photos of my dad. I was born in 1955. So in 1969, I was 14 years old. I vividly remember the Apollo 11 coming down, landing on the moon, they're walking around and all that stuff.
So I don't know about you, but every time I come across these conspiracy theories, particularly people that really don't know what they're talking about, they only seem to ever mention or think that there's only ever one other landing, right? But we all know different. You know, there were 7 attempts and there was actually 6 that landed. You know, so these conspirators often mention the moon landing as if there was only one, and I forget that there was actually 6 others that landed. And that becomes apparent a little bit later on in this video as well. So yeah. So what about the rest of them? You don't remember the others then, did you? You didn't watch the TV? Maybe you didn't. I don't know. So anyway, let's carry on.
Anyway, I never questioned that until my dad told me what he told me on his deathbed, and then I started doing a little. Nothing major, nothing, just surfing the web, I think they call it, surfing the web. And a lot of that information's right there on the web. I mean, it verifies the story that he told me. A good detective, a good one, would be able to uncover a lot more of the story that I'm getting ready to tell you.
Yeah, if there's a good detective that can uncover the supposed story, then why hasn't there been? We haven't heard any from any good detectives. In fact, we haven't heard anything from anybody of any kind of qualification in detection or science or anything like that has exposed it all. It's just people like Bert Sibrel and this guy. Yeah, so Truth Nerd says, so a deathbed confession about a deathbed confession. That's a fourth-hand information then, right? Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Good point, Truth Nerds. Yeah. Fourth hand. Deathbed confession of a deathbed confession. Okay, let's carry on.
So, please have at it. I've never known my dad to lie. To get caught lying was worse than whatever it was you did to begin with. I remember going to school with long sleeve shirts on to hide the purple welts. You did not lie in our house, that's for sure. Dad had a really bad attitude towards lying. Excuse me again.
Right. So do you notice this? This is another red flag for me. Is he was talking about his dad never lies. Okay. Now the problem is well throughout the video, and I wonder if somebody could do me a favor, right? This is the first time he mentions it. Okay, can you make a note? Somebody make a note of how many times he says I've never known my dad to lie, because he does mention it a few times, but I never got around to actually counting how many times he says that. And for anybody that knows about body language and things like that, and signs of people lying, that's one of the key things. They have to reinforce that, oh, I would never lie, right? And they might say that several times, and that's an indicator that there might be lying. It's not proof, but it's an indicator, right? So yeah, so if somebody can make a note, that's number one. So if somebody can make a note of how many more times he actually says this through the video, because I'm likely to forget. So let's carry on anyway.
Okay. Anyway, this is the story that my dad told me on his deathbed. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this.
Yeah, he's trying to convince himself, Dick. Yeah, not us, exactly. Yeah, but as you know, when somebody tells enough lies, they begin to believe their own lies, don't they? And I've known people in my life, one in particular, mentioning no names. So yeah, that does happen. So yeah, let's just carry on anyway. What he's got to say.
President Johnson in 1968. Okay. In Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that.
Hold on, I can't pick a second. Yeah, Commander 41 says woo peddlers in charlatans tell you that they would never lie just before they start lying. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, this is problem number one of what he's just said. Did you hear what he said? He said that apparently there was to set up the moon set where they supposedly filmed it. They put sand down, and then they sprinkled cement powder on top of that. Now, you guys are intelligent enough to see what the problem is with that, right? I'm sure you know it's not difficult. So if you think about it, sand sprinkled with cement powder to make it look like a moonscape. Can anybody in the chat tell me what the problem is with that? I'm sure I don't need to tell you. I'm sure. Well, truth knows I'm not sure he's trying to perceive. They add water. Come on, guys. Well, think about it, right? Okay, so you think about sand, and you sprinkled some concrete powder on top, right? You start walking around on it. Guess what's going to happen? You kick it up. Are you not going to expose the sand underneath it? Right? So yeah, so that's the problem. So if you look at all the moon footage that we see, everybody doing the EVAs and walking around in it, and the the lunar rovers and stuff like that, moving around, kicking up all the dust. Do we see any sand or anything or like lighter powder underneath it all? No, we don't. So that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? You see where I'm coming from. Oh, come on, guys. You guys are too slow on this. I thought you would have picked up on that. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Yeah, cement powder will start to solidify just to the moisture in the air. Absolutely. Then you can leave that bag of cement in a garage for too long. Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing as well. Yeah, it would start to solidify. Absolutely, Mike. Yeah. Anyway, welcome, Mike. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So yeah, that's my bigger problem. So that's hole number one in this story for me. Oh, Danny Jones just joined us. Nice to see you, Danny. Oh, if anybody check out Danny Jones' channel. Moon is it Moon? No, sorry, Hoax Police, I believe. Check out his channel; it's really good. So please go and visit that. It's an excellent channel to see. So anyway, let's carry on and see what else this guy's got to say. Oh, before Commando 401. He says sand the particles around in cement powder. Possibly the particles are more jagged, but have sound. They just move just to feed the purpose. Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a big difference between the particles of sand and the moon regolith or the moon dust. The moon dust is more like dust or more like flour. It's very jagged. Whereas sand, if you look at sand particles, it's very much weathered and round and smooth. And that's why it's difficult to get a decent footprint in the sand with any detail, because it just won't hold its shape. You need water, add water, because we do sand castles as a kid, you remember? Yeah, we do it with our own children. It's not be outside the realms of possibility they would want to replicate a dusty surface for testing. Yeah, possibly, but then again, if you've got sand underneath a thin layer of cement powder or any powder of any sort, you're going to expose the sand that's underneath it. If you're walking around it and kicking up, you see the astronauts skipping. They're kicking up sand all the time, and the lunar rovers kicking up sand all over the place. Sorry, got me at it now. Kicking up the moon dust. But we don't see that in any of the footage, do we? So anyway, so let's carry on. Enough chatting.
To make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise.
Oh, there he is. I've never known my dad to lie. That's number 2. I hope you keep a note. That's twice he said that now.
What's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was uncrated the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. There was no reason for them to go flying around and everything. They had detailed high-definition photos of the landing area. There was no...
detailed high-definition photos, well, hardly high-definition. They did have photos, yeah, but I wouldn't call it high-definition. Enough to actually see landing areas that would be hopefully safe enough. So I'm not sure about high-definition.
No reason for them to go flying around to a different landing area that almost exhausted their fuel, except for drama, because everything had gone so smoothly. Nothing, so it had to be something.
Well, as we all know, it didn't go so smoothly. There were problems with Apollo 11 in particular. They had communication problems, sending data backwards and forwards and stuff like that. as we all know, if you listen to the landing sequence, for those that you know, you remember the 1201 and the 1202 alarm. Remember all that? That was that as well. That turned out to be okay. That was fine. They also had they were overshoot. They were a little bit long on where they were supposed to be landing. In other words, they overshot the landing area. And then the computer was going to land them in a boulder field, and then Neil Armstrong took control, and he landed it in another area, a bit further along the track, so to speak, and that's why they got a little bit short on fuel. I mean, it wasn't deathly short. I mean, don't forget they would have had enough fuel in the ascent stage in order to abort if they needed to. So that wouldn't have been an issue. So yeah, that's why it went down to, I think, something around about 20 seconds or 15 seconds of fuel or something like that. Somebody could probably remind me. I can't remember how much it was. So yeah. So anyway, let's see what else he's got to say.
Anyway, Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson. And here is that list. And I gave it to Bert Sibrel as well.
Hold on a minute, right? So he's about to give a list of 15 people that were only authorized to go into this hangar. 15 people. But bear in mind that he said earlier on that his notes were lost, were taken by the government. You remember? His computer notes were lost on a computer that was stolen by taken by the government. They took it away from him, and apparently he's going to come up with 15 names from memory. Now, I'm not saying that's not beyond the realms of impossibility. You know, it is quite possible that people can remember 15 names, but just send up a bit of a red flag. Oh, I forgot to mention as well. You know, earlier on when he mentioned that that the apparently the walls were painted black inside this hangar, and the ceiling too. I mean, how does that work with the lunar landscape in terms of the lunar mountains and things like that? Because we're told time and time again in photographs, aren't they, by these moon landing deniers, that there's a border between the surface and the backdrop, and apparently there's a backdrop, and that they often might have denied. So if the backdrop's black, how does that work? You can't chroma key that out, can you? If you try and chroma key black out when you've got black and white images of the moon's surface, going to struggle a little bit. So yeah, anyway. So let's get back to that. Yeah, look at fish. That's going to become apparent even more so in a minute. Yeah, 15. That's my first thoughts. 15 people. Yeah, sure. Anyway, let's carry on.
And he checked out a lot of these names, and he says he can verify a lot of these people and what they do. And I come across a couple myself. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie. Now, the only 2 that I really have information on is Robert Emenegger. Apparently, he did a lot of video work and stuff for the Department of Defense.
Right, hold on a minute. So this Robert Emenegger, or whatever you call him, I'm not up with people who do films or directors or anything like that, but one guy apparently is going to do the filming. One guy. The greatest conspiracy of the 20th century apparently was all faked, and it was all filmed by one guy. Not Stan Kubrick with a film set and crew and all the rest of it. One guy. So no lighting crew, no sound crew, no set crew, no nothing. There's one guy, and so apparently, all the rest of the scientists and the president who was going to help them, I suppose, film it. Yeah, come on. Oh my god! This story in itself is just full of holes, isn't it? So far, it really is. It's crazy. So anyway, let's see what else he's got to say.
So the DoD did know him, okay, and the other one was Grant Norray, Norray, I believe, was to the best of my dad's knowledge was a like some FBI, CIA, NSA, who knows, something like that. Okay, President Johnson only showed up for the first day of filming. Filming lasted for 3 days, and the entire project was restored to original. In other words, the hangars were all taken apart, the sand was all removed.
Right, here we go. This is another thing as well, right? So all this was supposed to have happened, and they cleared it all away. All right? They cleared it all away. So that was for Apollo 11, because Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong were there, don't forget, and Gene Kranz, and several other scientists and things like that. So they just did it once, did they? They filmed it. So did they? So what about the rest of them then? What about Apollo 12? 13 didn't land. 14, 15, 16, and 17. What about all those? Did they then do it all over again? See the problem with that? Oh my word. It just sort of gets worse and worse and worse. So another big red flag.
And so on and so forth. Okay. Dad said there was a lot of building going on at the base, so at the time, so sand and cement powder was never questioned. I can see.
Oh, that's kind of convenient, isn't it? There was building going on at Cannon Air Force Base at the time. If anybody in the chat has got any information about Cannon Air Force Base, if anybody knows it or anything like that, or the historical inspirations of it, then let me know outside of this live stream. I'd like to know more about it, particularly in those days, if anybody has. I know it's in New Mexico, but interesting. Yeah, very convenient. There was building going on at the Air Force Base at the time when they did that. Yeah, in his mind, he's thinking, can I just go back to the retirement home now? I only wanted to go for an ice cream. Kind of give that impression, don't you? Yeah, just pay me my $5 and let me go back now, please. Right, let's carry on.
Yeah, they could smuggle that all in within everything else that's going on. Since 2002, I have dug up, I already told you about that, the evidence for the moon landing that I have found. If you go to Google and go to Cannon Air Force Base website, they admit that President Johnson was there. The lunar lander was there. The astronauts were there.
So apparently the Cannon Air Force Base website admits that they were all there at that time. That's what he's claiming at the moment. But carry on watching and you'll see what happens next.
There. I also have verified some of the people on the list were there. I also verified there are a lot of...
So there it says, Cannon Air Force Base removed this from their website shortly after this investigation started. Really? Oh, how much of another convenient, isn't it? More missing information that just happened to have disappeared from view. So we've got absolutely no evidence whatsoever that anybody was there at all. All those people that he supposedly mentioned were there. I think I might do a little bit more research about that and see whether any of those people he mentions and stuff like that were actually there. If there's any film or documentation or something that might have been going on at the time. So I'll look into that a little bit more, because I can guarantee you I'm going to be doing more about this later on, 100%, because this story is going to thicken. Because you're going to see tonight on the Shields. So please, if you can join us, I'm going to give you more background to the story, the juicy parts behind this video tonight. So please join us. Dick, if you can post the link to the Shields tonight, that would be really great. If you can do that, that'd be awesome. So join us for that, and you're going to hear more and more of this, and that'll be little bit more of that is going to be revealed. So let's carry on.
Building going on in the base, just as he had told me. And all of this was going on at the same time, on the same date. Dad told me all these things father to son. He also told me not to ever tell anyone what he had said, but he said on his deathbed that he had to tell somebody before he died because it was just too important not to tell. I sure as hell wasn't going to tell anybody.
I'm sure as hell not going to tell anybody. Well, you are now. Yeah. So anyway, just so you know that he released this video, he produced this video in February of 2020, and he died in, I think it was April of 2022. And then Bert Sibrel released this video some months later. Why he didn't do that earlier, but I'm not 100% sure whether he might have released it earlier, but it's all over social media. But anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah, I feared for my wife and me and my son, and I'll tell you why. Ever since I contacted Bert Sibrel, I think they may be listening to his phone once in a while, because I never had any problems until I contacted him and told him my story. Now, people broke into my house 2 times. I was visited by men with black suits, and I was told in no uncertain terms to drop this whole project, not to say anymore to anybody, or me and my wife and my son could disappear.
So the men in black visited him. Men in black visited him and said, no, don't be talking about that now. Really? But he offers no information about these break-ins as well that he was talking about. Offers no information about that, when it was, who was involved, whether it was reported to the police or all the rest of it. No information about this. And these mysterious men in black coming around and saying, no, don't talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Truth nerds, yeah. The men in black suits neutralize him. Well, I think the neutralizer, or whatever you call it, the flashy thing, didn't work very well on him because he's talking about it in the video that he's going to give to Bert Sibrel of all people. Jesus wept. I wouldn't give Bert Sibrel a wet paper bag, let alone a video. Jesus wept. Anyway, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. That's right, RSG. Let's carry on.
You take that pretty literally after everything that's going on. Well, so I stopped contacting Bart, and now I'm making this video that I'm going to send to Bart. Mr. Sibrel, excuse me. Bart's my brother, man. My brother in heart, my brother in Jesus, okay? Bart, being a good friend that he is, called the police for me and told them about the break-ins. The 2 detectives that came out and everything questioned me and everything like that, I didn't give them any information at all. At the time, I thought it was a test from them guys in the black suits. I didn't say crap. So all that went away and everything, but it definitely, the 2 guys in the black suits were not the 2 detectives that came out to question me about the break-ins.
So he offers no information about these detectives that came round. So we still don't have any information about that. But again, like I said to you before, if I was given a deathbed confession, right, about the greatest hoax of the 20th century, I would want to be providing all the evidence I possibly could, right? But it's just him talking. He's not providing any of it evidence of anything he's claiming at all, none. You know, and that's just classic flirt, and that's just classic conspiracy theories, and that's just classic moon landing deniers, isn't it? It just stinks of it, and to be honest with you, it stinks of Bert Sibrel, the whole thing. But whether he was directly connected with getting him to make this video, and I don't know, me provide the script, we don't know. But I'd like to get to the point where it does do that, because that'd be brilliant. That'd be awesome, and I'm having a lot of fun with this already, and it's great. The more you look into it, and as I said tonight, the Shields, please join us. Links at the top of the chat on the pin. It's been pinned. Yeah, join us, and you're going to see some more information, and there's going to be more later on as more information comes to light. You'll see why tonight. So please join us. Anyway, sorry, let's move nothing chat. Let's go.
But thanks, Bart. But no, I don't want any help. I just want somebody to pick up where I left off and be able to prove with the information I've given. And I'm trying to give as much as I can because I know that once I die, I'm not going to be able to be asked any questions. So that's why I tried to give you a little backstory too. But that's about all I can think of. My dad, he raised me by the book. I know he didn't lie to me. And as I started seeing more and more of what he was telling me was true, I realized my dad wasn't lying. I lifted the lid off my dad's case, and you can see that his name is Cyrus Eugene Akers. He was born on July 17th, 1933. He died on September 28th, 2002. Here's his badge, and I wanted to see if I could get as close as possible so that you can read the numbers on the bottom, which are, okay, there it is. (07596). 07596.
There we go. That badge number is probably going to be significant quite soon, because that's hopefully going to reveal some more information. Somebody has already requested a freedom of information thing already, which I'm going to tell you about tonight on the Shields, and hopefully that's going to reveal quite a lot more about his alleged father and where he served and what he did, etc. as well, and also siblings, relatives, and things like that, and whether he had a son by his name. So who knows? That could reveal. So yeah, personally, I think there's a D, but anyway, it's irrelevant. So let's carry on. But have a look at the guy, this father's photo. All right. And take a note of where it says more information to bartsibrel.com, right? All that's been there right in front of it, all the rest of it as well. So make a little mental note of that image in your head, because you're going to see that again somewhere else, which is a bit bizarre. And all will be revealed tonight on the Shields. So let's carry on.
That's my dad. And it must have been a really early picture because he's only got 2 stripes, so that was back in the 50s, I'm sure. Probably not long after I was born. And there he is. That's my father. My dad, he raised me by the book. I know he didn't lie to me. And
there it is again. Isn't that the third time or something he's had to say that? My dad was never lied to me. Why would he keep saying that in a video? I think that's 3 times. Have I got that right? I don't know. 3? It was the 4th time. 3 times, I think. See what I mean? I told you I'd forget. So that's 3 times. So somebody who's telling the truth wouldn't need to keep reinforcing that, would they? So it's like waving a big red flag, just that alone, as well as the holes in his story and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. So anyway, he's nearly finished. Let's carry on. As I started seeing more and more of what he was telling me was true, I realized my dad wasn't lying. So that's the image right there. That I want you to make a mental note of that. Okay, and you'll see tonight. You're gonna see that again. That image, just that almost that same screen clip right there. And it's bloody bizarre. It really is. Lookerfish, Commander 4-1. Given how many of the shills have clearance, the MIB should be encamping outdoors. Yeah, exactly. Too right. Yeah. His dad is a milkman. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's that sort of hat, doesn't it? Right enough. Yeah, it does. Herman Munster. Says Richie. Yeah, let's carry on anyway. He's just about done now. So that's it. Yeah, that's all he's got to say. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, it's full of holes. So you got, first of all, you know, like you said, three or four times he mentions that his dad would never lie to him. No, he would never lie. The sprinkling of cement powder over sand for the moonscape, the black walls and black ceiling of this supposed moon landing set that they filmed it on. 15 people that he magically managed to remember out of memory because he lost his notes from a computer that was supposedly stolen or confiscated by the government. Okay, so there's that. And unexplained fire, all from where, you know, from when he's supposed to have recorded his father confessing all these things. All kinds of no information as to who he is, not identifying who he is at all. I mean, like I said, I think probably most of us if you're gonna reveal this level of stuff, you're gonna kind of give as much information as you possibly can. But apart from his badge number and a photograph of his father with a flag, there's no other information. You know, again, like I said, none of this is proof. I'm not saying what I'm saying is proof, but this seems to be raising a lot more questions that it's actually answering, isn't it? I don't know about you, you know, but the story clearly that his father gave is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's just rubbish, and we just know that, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But yeah, I'd be happy. I would like to know what you will think of this, and what you think is going to develop after this. What's going to happen, because I think it's going to be kind of interesting, so I'm going to try and follow this as much as I can. I missed out, but I'm sure it's another issue for psychology related. Well, a little bit, real sickness, yeah, to be honest with you, but basically this was a deathbed confession of his father has supposedly seen things of them actually faking the moon landing. In a hangar in Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico, and there's just so many holes in the story. And as I said earlier on, the story actually, the plot thickens from there on in when you hear more of the story tonight. I really do hope you can join us, because I think it's going to be kind of interesting as well. Dick says, I keep wondering if they gave him his meth after he read the script. Yeah. Who knows? Will Cygnus, thanks very much. You'll be there. Brilliant. Links at the top of the screen, so if you can be that would be awesome. Lookfish says, if they did want to black out a hangar to fake space, they would have used black velvet. Right, okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's see who else are they. Yeah. Commander 4-1, exactly. Yeah, the men in black are going to be harassing his ass. This is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, you know, the fact that he keeps mentioning that their father would never lie to him. So, I mean, somebody somewhere is lying, isn't they? You know, clearly they're lying. So whether he did have a father about that name, we don't know. We don't know whether his father did serve as a military police officer. We haven't got that confirmed as of yet. We don't know for sure whether this guy that in the video was actually dying or has died. And you'll see a bit more information about that tonight as well. That's a little bit more revealing. But you know, it raises a whole load of questions just from that alone. And there's just nothing. It's so loose, and it's just so full of holes. It's just really not a believable thing, is it? To be fair, you know. So yeah, there it is. Charlie Welsh is going to again with that little boy's smile. Yeah. Black Velvet and that slow southern style. Oh, Damon Orr, welcome, but you've kind of come towards the end of it, dude. You're gonna have to watch this. I think you'll like this, to be honest with Damon Orr. I really do. Good to see you. But yeah, please. So I'm gonna wrap up a little bit here now. So like I said before, I don't want to keep pushing this, but if you can join us tonight on the Shields, that'd be really, really good. If you have missed this, then you should see the recording of the show very shortly. What I'm planning on doing is that I'm going to stitch together this live stream we did and the kind of later, the second part of the Shields tonight. We're going to go through this bit again as well anyway. But the sort of second part, the juicier part, so I'm going to sort of stitch those together in a video and then post that up on the channel so you see the whole thing. And then hopefully soon when I get more updates, I'll do more on that as well. Maybe we'll do it as a live show. I'm not 100% sure at the moment, but we'll see. So yeah, really appreciate you coming. Thanks very much for coming. I really appreciate it. I haven't done a live for a very long time, so I hope it's gone okay. It seems to have gone okay. There's no real cock ups that I can see, but I'm sure Dick will run his professional eye over this, and I'm sure there's some improvements which I'll take advice for and improve it. And if there's anything else that I can do for you guys or you'd like to see, then please let me know and I'll do it again in another show. I was going to start doing a show called See You Next Saturday, but I'm not 100% sure whether I'll be able to do a show every Saturday, so I need to sort of rethink that and how it's going to work and all the rest of it as well. More nudity, definitely not Dick. No, that's not going to happen. M2M uses subliminal messages in his streams. You are all programmed to believe in flat Earth. It will kick in later. Oh, for God's sake, I hope not. My boss says seems to work from my standpoint. Well, that's great, excellent. Thank you very much. I hope it worked all right. I'm kind of getting used to using this streaming software as well. So it's stuff that I have to sort of stop and think about. So I hope I kind of need to look at the camera a little bit more, I think, don't I? But you can't help it when you're looking at the chat as well. So you need to kind of look at different places. So I am now going to say goodbye. I hope you can join us on the Shields tonight. It's been a pleasure, as I said it many times before. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Thanks for coming. Bye now.